All right. Hi again, everyone. Let's do this. I just opened up the mic. Right after I remind everyone that we now have Jazz components that are being actively tested, open to everyone. Jazz components are the easiest way you can install Jitsi, run it on your own infrastructure, and then leave the annoying parts to us, such as telephony. You can do that already today. One of the things that we're planning doing in the future is also supporting a mode where people can install only the web front end and they can come and get bridges from us using end-to-end encryption, which would actually be a case where end-to-end encryption makes sense because in most cases today, given that the code of the client and the server, the services and the bridges are all being maintained by the same entity, whether that's you or us, is the same entity, which kind of defeats the purpose of end-to-end encryption. But if we were to launch this service, it would be possible for anyone to just run the web front end on on a Raspberry Pi if you want to, and then come get bridges from us and not have to worry about privacy because calls will be end-to-end encrypted, and we will not have any control over the keys. So we kind of like that idea. We're going to try and, I'm just putting it out there because I was interested whether that might appeal to anyone. With that said, I'm opening the microphone for the team. Are there any updates the team would like to make? One of the things that we're working on currently, Jonathan, primarily, is we're looking into extending the size of the calls that Jitsi can support even further. We're thinking into the thousands. And obviously that starts covering other use cases. This would be more with regard to calls that feel more like live streaming. And that's something that we hope to have as a proof of concept maybe by the end of the year. We'll see how that goes. We'll keep the community here. If anyone, Jonathan, would you like to add anything here? Or I see you unmuted, but we don't hear you, or at least I don't. Anyone else? Would anyone else want to do any updates?
I have few updates about multi-stream mode. So we have few fixes incoming for some corner cases, especially when the call switches back and forth between P2P and JVB. There might be some cases where the screen sharing source might not appear on the remote users. So, and then there is an issue on Firefox also where because of the way Firefox actually presents the transceivers in one of the APIs, the screen sharing might not start. So we have fixes incoming for those issues, and we're planning a release sometime this week on Jitsi.
Yep, that's a great update. Thank you very much, JM. Also, Jana reminded me that we haven't actually had a call ever since we did a change on the configuration for recordings on Meet Jitsi. So on Meet Jitsi, we have now enabled local recordings. It's possible for everyone to record the call on their own browser. And we have also disabled recordings, infrastructure recordings, so through Jibri. And obviously part of the reason is because Jibri costs a lot of money. We'd rather not have to pay that money. We didn't really have around it before because that was the only way you could record a call, and we wanted our users not to lose that functionality. Now that we have an alternative, we think we're good, and we've turned off the Jibri recordings on Midjitsi. Obviously, that's still a fully supported mechanism. So if you in code, and something that we use on Jazz and 8x8. So anyone running that on their own infrastructure has nothing to worry about. The functionality isn't going away. This is just a deployment config.
And live streaming is still enabled, right?
And live streaming is still enabled on Jitsi. That's right. All right. Thank you very much, team. Is there anything from the floor? Any questions and comments from the community? All right. So Freddie says, with local recording, would it be possible to limit that access to just moderators? No, that's not possible. And we've had a lot of questions about this and internal discussions. We were even wondering whether it's appropriate to notify people of recording, whose interest is one, whose interest, like if everyone is our user in a meeting, whose choices are we supposed to override? Where we ended up is that we'll still announce recordings, even on local recordings, because we don't want to prevent accidents from, I forgot to tell you I was recording, I didn't mean to, but then you didn't know, so something went on camera that you didn't intend to have persisted. So that part will stay. However, when we provide local recordings, I mean, this is just stuff happening on the user's computer. If we don't let you do a recording using Jitsi Meet on your computer, you can do that without asking us in a bunch of different ways. You could just record your screen, and you can even just take out your phone and point it at the screen and start recording. Like, anyone can do that. My personal bar is, if my dad can do it, then anyone in the world can do it. So my dad can definitely record a video with his phone. So we felt that the keeping that functionality to moderators wouldn't really make sense. Hope the answer makes sense to you, Freddie. When do you plan to release a new stable release? Damien's not here. Jana, maybe. I don't know if that's already on the schedule. The next.
So yeah, Damien is the one handling those. But what I can say is that we're planning a immediate release this week, which is followed, like our process is to follow that with a stable release once it bakes on Jitsi for a few days, and if we don't receive any reports of concerning issues, so it will probably come early next week, I would say. But yeah, I cannot confirm. It will be in the next 2 weeks, probably.
Thank you, Jana. There's a question from Wayne about disable AGC equals true, or config disable AGC equals true. I don't recognize anything, and I don't know if this is supposed to work or not. Can anyone else comment?
I would like it to default to the AGC off rather than on. I find the on, it just causes more troubles than anything else with mic levels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is supposed to work for your local mic.
So is it possible that did you do that for every user?
Yes, we have tried that, and now this is with the Electron app, the app image, and for some reason, I use other things on the URL, other switches, and they seem to work fine, but this one Doesn't seem to make any difference. It doesn't toggle the thing on or off.
How are you checking whether it's on or off?
Just looking for the toggle and seeing if my mic level changes at all, during use.
Looking for which toggle?
In the settings, when you first launch the app, the gear, you click. Well, actually.
Oh, we have a setting in the Electron app that tells you whether to do that.
Yes, there is for disabling the AGC.
Oh well, that shows how much I use it. So it's possible that's just a rendering issue on the Electron app. It might actually be working, but just not properly displayed, or it may be that something else is overriding it. So is the main party responsible for keeping the Electron app alive. So he's not here. And he was telling me he was a little bit under the weather today. So if you don't mind just leaving a message on the forum asking this question, you'll probably get a more accurate answer.
Okay, thank you.
And if you have access to the logs, you should see a message saying disabling AGC or something like that.
Okay.
Right. So if that's a rendering issue, that would explain, whether it is or not. All right. Any other questions or comments? All right. In that case, it has been very nice seeing you all. Well, I actually saw no one, but it has been very nice seeing your initials and names today. Thank you for stopping by, and see you again in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.